Howdy, folks. I'm Brian, and here's some Amber, and here's some Reddit, and here's the schedule. Our first letter today is titled, Am I a jerk for expecting more than a surprise print-off of a baby scan for my birthday? My 29-year-old girlfriend and I, a 29-year-old male, have been trying to have a baby for a while now, and it was my birthday on Sunday. She said that she had a surprise for me, and I was really excited this year because I knew it wasn't going to be a spa weekend or anything like that due to lockdown. I was sure that she'd gotten me something really good, possibly a PS5, but I know there's a shortage, so I wasn't going to get carried away. So I wake up on Sunday morning and walk downstairs, and she hands me an envelope. It's an envelope with a black and white sonogram. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy that we're having a baby. Delighted. But this was my day, you know. No card, no cake, just a print-off. Like, if it wasn't my birthday, she would have gotten the scan anyways. I told her that I thought she was cheap, and while I know I'm not entitled to a PS5, I do expect something decent. She's been mad at me since Sunday and called me horrible names. So I thought I'd check to see if I'm a jerk. Well, I mean, my thoughts here are that you can be disappointed about not getting a PS5 or maybe even a gift. And it could even be that your wife has been having, or your girlfriend rather, has been having like issues like morning sickness and whatnot since becoming pregnant. And so these are all things that may have caused her to not really be able to go out of her way to get you a gift or a cake or something like that. And maybe she just sincerely thought you were going to be as excited about this as she was. So it probably is just an overall miscommunication here. I don't think that she had any intention of making you feel like you were shorted here. So yeah, I just think this was a good faith effort on her part to get you a gift or something that she thought you would be excited about. I mean, really, why would she have done this if she didn't think you were going to be excited? So to me, it just seems like she expected probably more excitement from you and that you two would spend the day celebrating. But instead, this, happy time was turned into kind of a time of fighting and bickering. So I think that's unfortunate. What do you think, Amber?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think it's fine to be disappointed in gifts. We all get gifts sometimes that just aren't what we were hoping for, but the problem is how you express this. I mean, you literally said, you called her cheap, and you said, I do expect something decent. Now, it sounds like you've been trying for a baby for a while. She's probably so excited that you're finally going to get to be parents, and you just told her that this monumental thing is not something decent. So the way you handle the situation is not the best. I understand being disappointed about not getting anything else, and that, again, it's fine to be disappointed about things, but there are more tactful ways to express disappointment than what you did here.
Yeah.
Our next story is, am I the jerk for expecting my girlfriend to do the housework? I'm a 27-year-old male, my girlfriend is a 25-year-old female, and she's been diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome for 3 months now. She had to switch from full-time work to part-time due to her condition. I work a very demanding job with long hours. Every time I come home, barely any of the housework is done, which is frustrating because by the time I finish work, I'm probably almost as exhausted as my girlfriend. I've already told her that I'll do more of the physical stuff like mowing the lawn and vacuuming, etc., but considering she only works part-time, I feel like it's her responsibility to clean the house, do the laundry, etc. I told her how I felt about the situation, and she got upset with me and said that I obviously don't understand CFS, and then she locked herself in the bathroom. Am I the jerk for wanting a clean house to come home to? Yes. Your girlfriend has literally been diagnosed with a condition that makes it so she cannot work the same hours she was before. That doesn't mean that she has all this free time where she can just pick up extra responsibilities. It is not possible for her to do this. Otherwise she'd still be doing her full-time job. So she is absolutely right when she says that you don't understand CFS. Your exhaustion that you're feeling is not the same thing as CFS. So I think you absolutely are being a jerk here because you are not respecting your girlfriend's serious medical condition. You're not taking it seriously.
Yeah, so I don't know the details of chronic fatigue syndrome, but I imagine that if she's actually been diagnosed with this, and that this is something that's preventing her, a medical condition that's stopping her from working full time, then probably she's just exhausted. And I mean, she's probably not trying to short you on the chores, and she's probably not trying to make you do more, but she may be doing all she can. And I think that it's going to be a really frustrating time for you and her both. I'm sure she would rather not have chronic fatigue syndrome than to feel fatigued, and then to do chores. I mean, I don't think this is her getting out of chores. I don't think she's, malingering and being like, oh, I'm just going to pretend to be tired today so I don't have to do chores. And that's kind of what your letter comes across as, is though she's not really seriously tired. I think over the time with your relationship, you're going to have to work with her and try to understand that with a medical condition that may be debilitating like this, she might not be able to pull an equal amount of weight in the relationship.
In terms of work.
In terms of work. And so I think that's just something that you're going to have to work with and, live with if you're wanting to continue this relationship. Other people who have to take care of like a partner who's become disabled in one way or another, I'm sure they feel a similar level of frustration, and there might be resources out there on the internet to kind of help you deal with these. There might also be therapy. So I would, investigate different avenues to kind of help you work through this frustration, because this isn't going to get any better. And the longer you let it fester, the harder it's probably going to be to come to terms with this. So
there is one comment that explains CFS. It's more of an anxiety disorder, it sounds like, than just exhaustion. So it's the second one, where it says, OP is definitely the jerk. I have CFS. I have had it for 2 years. On a good day, I can put some clothes in the washing machine or make a basic meal. Other days, I crawl up the stairs and can't move from the sofa. OP obviously has no concept of what CFS actually is. Your body is basically in fight or flight all the time, which totally drains your body.
This person has a very well thought out post, it sounds like. So, yeah, I might leave it up there for people to read if you want to pause, but we're going to move along, I think. All right, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Blowing Out My Niece's Birthday Cake Candles? So it was my niece's 6th birthday. The whole family went over to my sister's house to celebrate. It gets to the birthday cake part, and my niece is struggling to blow out all 10 candles. 10? Why would you give a 6-year-old 10 candles?
I was wondering about that same thing.
So I take it upon myself. See, this is probably why they were having trouble, is there were too many candles, and the universe wasn't aligned, so they couldn't blow them out. So I take it upon myself to step in and just blow out the last few candles for her to hurry it up. My niece started crying, and now my sister and husband are both mad at me. I don't really understand what the big deal was. I was just trying to help. They're making me feel bad. Am I a jerk, or am I just being dramatic? Well, I mean, OP, I think the problem here is that you robbed your niece of their wish, and now your niece isn't going to be able to get their wish, and that's pretty devastating as a 6-year-old. So I don't recommend that. And I think that, mysticism and magic aside, this was something that she wanted to do. She didn't ask you, can you blow out my candles for me? She didn't. This is something that every kid kind of looks forward to. Put yourself back into the mindset of a 6-year-old for a second with the candles sitting in front of you. You want to blow out all those candles. It's kind of symbolic that you've now moved from one year to the next year. That's kind of the highlight. And maybe for you, who is much older, it's not as much of a big deal, but she's had 6 birthdays. Probably not every single one of those that she remembers being able to blow out the candles. And this, is a big deal for her. She's moving from one age to the next.
I agree with what you said. I mean, my question to you is why, you say you did this to hurry it up. Why did it need to hurry? Sometimes it takes time to do things, especially when kids are involved. And she didn't ask for your help or anything. She was trying to do this, it sounds like, on her own. And so why did you feel the need to step in? Were you that anxious for your piece of cake? Like, just let her have time to do her own thing. And if she asked for help, then absolutely. But until she asks for help, just let her blow out her own candles.
You're the jerk. She's a kid. It's a moment that means a lot to a kid. Hope you didn't finish opening her gifts so she could hurry it up. That was actually a pretty good comment.
Our next story is, am I the jerk for telling my daughter I would be her birthing partner and now changing my mind last minute? I only agreed because she had no other good choices. My wife, her mother, is no longer with us, and the baby's father left her shortly after she got pregnant. We have some other female family members, but she's not particularly close with any of them. I did ask her about using a friend for support, but she said she'd rather have me. Otherwise, I would have said no, because I'm not comfortable with the situation, but I felt obligated since she asked under these circumstances and is so young, she's 19. But as I've thought about this more, I just don't think I can be there when she gives birth. I hated the experience when I was with my wife, and I think it will be worse since she is my daughter, so I said that I'd changed my mind and couldn't do it unless there is no other support partner she can find. She's 7 months now, so it is kind of last minute, but not so late that she can't find someone else, and I did say that if she can't, I'll be there. My daughter just sees this as me backing out and abandoning her. She said she feels hurt and let down by me and doesn't want anyone else, but I've tried to explain my position to her and why it's weird as her father to be there. I've talked about the situation with a few friends and close female coworkers, and they're all unanimous in saying that what I'm doing is a jerk move. No one seems to think that my reasons for changing my mind are acceptable since I'd committed to it for so long and due to her age. So I suppose I'm asking if they're right about me being a jerk.
Well, doesn't look like they got the validation that they were looking for.
Yes, OP, you are being a jerk here. And kind of the key thing is you went into this with reservations, which is understandable. But if you were having reservations, the time to deal with that was at the outset. You waited until she's 7 months along into this pregnancy, and it sounds like she doesn't have a very big support system, like it's pretty much just you. She wants you to be here because you mean so much to her as her dad, because you've been by her side through all these big things. And so while I get it might be an uncomfortable situation, one, you don't have to look while the baby is being born. You could just stand there and hold her hand. You don't have to watch anything if that makes you uncomfortable, because that could reasonably make someone uncomfortable. That's totally fine. She wants you there as moral support, to hold her hand, to tell her that everything's going to be okay. You're one of the few people she has who can do this. So if you can all find it in yourself to do this for her, I would really recommend that you do this. And in the future, if requests come up that you're not comfortable with, the time to express that discomfort is when they're made, not wait until you've been agreeing to something for a long time and then back out.
Yeah, I think you said that pretty well. I don't think that you should be backing out of this, especially on such short notice. And I think that for every little bit that you're uncomfortable, I imagine your daughter right now is that much more uncomfortable. And I don't think this is a joyride for her. And I think that she just wants someone in her life who's going to be there for her and who's not going to abandon her or leave her. And it sounds like she's had a lot of that throughout her life, and you've been, there for her. And I think that this would be an honor for you. That's kind of how I see it. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling a friend that I was always going to put my fiance first? I gave myself all the short ones because I'm bad at reading and Amber's much better. It's less editing time for me. My fiance and I are really spontaneous and love surprise dates and such. I had plans that night to go see the newly put up Christmas display light with my friend, outdoors of course, when my fiance said she thought this would be a fun date night and we should go and see the lights together. I told my friend that night, thanks for the invitation, but we have decided to do the lights as a fun couple. My friend was angry and said that this was like the 5th time that I've done this to her and that she feels used and hurt. I told her that I'm sorry she feels that way, but I was always going to put my fiance over my friend, and that she would have done the same if she had a fiance. Am I a jerk? Well, so yes, to answer your question shortly, but for the long answer, how did your fiance not know you had plans? And I mean, either one, you didn't share these plans with your fiance, and then she made a spontaneous date, but that's not what it sounds like. It sounds like your fiance stepped in and absconded your friend's position here and said, oh, I don't want you to do this with your friend, and said, let's do it together. And I think that relationships should have, boundaries, of course. And it sounds like your fiance is kind of stepping over some boundaries here and basically trying to come between you and your friend's relationship. And that's what this sounds like to me. This doesn't sound like it's accidental. It sounds like this is happening over and over again. Maybe once it would be accidental, but if she keeps coming in and taking the place of your friend in these times that you're hanging out, that's not an accident anymore. This isn't just spontaneous, serendipity. Your friend is being pushed out of the picture, and your fiance is the one who's doing this. You made a commitment for your time. You said you were going to do something with someone, and then you backed out. You flaked out on them. And I think that's not good. And I don't think that you should be doing something like that. What do you think?
Yeah, so what you are doing here is not putting your fiance first. When people say that, that means like, I'm going to go to the holidays with my fiance and I'm going to prioritize them in certain ways. It doesn't mean dropping everything anytime they have an idea to do something. What you are doing is being a bad friend. It's fine to put your fiance first, and two, so that way if your friend comes up with an idea when you have plans with your fiance, like have blocks of time when you want to spend with your fiance, all that sort of stuff is fine. But dropping plans you've already made because your fiance came up with an idea is not okay. You're really just being a bad friend here, so I would say you're a jerk. Our last story is, am I the jerk for wanting to name my baby the same name as my sister's ex-boyfriend? I've had a list of future baby names since I was 15. One boy's name that I have always adored is Mason. I'm currently 25 weeks pregnant with a boy, and me and my boyfriend have been discussing names. We haven't been able to settle on a name until I said Mason. We both think it's perfect, and we've agreed on it. Unluckily, my little sister was in a very toxic relationship with a guy who was emotionally abusive toward her. They broke up in late 2019, and his name was Mason. Obviously, my sister didn't react well when I told her we wanted to name our son Mason, and now every time I see her, she makes passive-aggressive comments. Like yesterday, she said my son is probably going to grow up to be a jerk. To me, it's just a name. It's not like me and my significant other are naming our kids after her ex. So am I the jerk? Yes.
Wait, you are naming him after her ex.
Yes. Like,
you literally are doing that.
Yes. Like, this may seem very small to you because you weren't in the relationship with this man, but think about things from your sister's perspective. She was abused by this person for, you don't say how long, but she was emotionally abused by this person. And they only broke up in late 2019. So she's had like a year to process this. This isn't even some old relationship. She's had a year to process this. She probably has a lot of traumatic memories. And you want to name your child, her nephew, this name that she associates with this very, very toxic person.
Well, what I want to know is, like, they broke up in 2019, so it's not like this was, like, yesterday.
Yeah.
And they hadn't been like, oh, we're naming our kid Mason, and we've had this plant picked out for, like, 10 years or something like that. This is, oh, you just broke up with this guy named Mason, and now we're going to name our kid after this. Like, yeah. Why even suggest the name at that point in time? It just seemed like a bad choice of a name to begin with. Yeah,
there are some names that you just don't pick. And if someone in your family has had, has a name that they have really negative connotations with, then it may make sense not to name your child that to bring up those negative memories. I understand that you and your significant other really like this name, but the thing is there are millions of names out there. I'm sure there's another one that you can find that you'll also like.
Yeah. I agree. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, then comment below. Tell me what we could have done to make it better. Don't forget to visit Amber's channel. I'll post a link. Hopefully I'll remember to actually post it on time this time, instead of like...
It's Reading Reddit with Amber.
Yeah, I mean, her channel is just called Reading Reddit with Amber, so you should be able to like see something up here, I think over here in the YouTube video, that says that it's her channel. So, click on that link. It's pretty cool. She has some good stories. We try not to tell the same ones, so there's not a lot of overlap.
There is some overlap.
Yeah, there is some overlap. Especially lately since I've been reading Reddit every day. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Take care and bye.
All right.
I wonder if I can sit back as far as you can. See, now I'm sitting back as far as Amber. She's just leaning way back.
That's what the back of the chair is meant for, is to lean against. That way you're not like, now I'm forward like Brian.
Okay, go ahead. Are you giving me bunny ears?
Yes.